Began Studios' first game, maybe even their best, Don Bradman Cricket 14 was not like any other cricket game. It wasn't easy, it had a career mode, it looked so good, and it was just as much fun as any cricket game of the 2000s. DBC 14 came out in April 2014, just 6 months after this masterpiece. That game deserves a video of its own. Even thinking of playing that gives me nightmares. But out of nowhere, DBC 14 came out and changed everything. Look at how beautiful this game is. It looks like a dream, and this was for Xbox 360 and PS3. This game easily looks better than DBC 17, which came out 2.5 years later for more powerful consoles. The lighting, it doesn't look like a game at all. Grounds aren't accurate to real life, but they are very well built and are beautiful. It doesn't stop there. The scenery outside the ground look like blurred out environments from GTA 5. Well, that is an over-exaggeration, but you get my point. Pitches look flat or worn out or green as compared to Cricket 22, which has variations, but the differences between different pitch types is harder to see. The career mode was the highlight. For the first time in a cricket game, you could take control of one player and take him from the domestic level to playing for the national team. Of course, only Australian and English domestic teams were present in the game. So even if your national team was India, you had to play for an English or Australian domestic team and then play for India. Which is funny, but at least they gave you the option of playing for other national teams. Because this was the first time we got a career mode, I was obsessed. I played for so long, so many careers, but still wanted more. I played the game from 2014 to about 2017. DBC 17 wasn't all that good, so until Ashes Cricket came out in late 2017, I played DBC 14. I played the game for so long because gameplay was realistic. In fact, it was so complex, you couldn't play it without a controller. Ashes 2009 lets you play shots all around the ground, but Don Bradman Cricket 14 gives you even more freedom. Not only can you play all around the ground, you can punch the ball, hit it hard along the ground, of course lofted shots, and each shot has its advantages and disadvantages. Punches are very precise, the ball will go right where you want it to go, but it won't travel long. Aggressive shots along the ground have power, but they are harder to control. Shots over the infield that have become popular now in T20s during the power play are very satisfying to play here. Just picking the ball and timing it over covers for a one bounce boundary. I hadn't played the game for a few years before this, and I have to say, shot animations are just as good as Cricket 22. Of course, Cricket 22 has more shots, but if you compare just how good each shot looks, it's neck and neck between the two. It does take some time to learn all that, but once you do, I promise you will be addicted. You will bat on and on. In fact, the batting system was so good, it hasn't been changed all that much. Even now, 8 years later, batting in Cricket 22 is very similar to this game. Even running between the wickets is ultra realistic. You can't hit the ball straight to a ring fielder at full force and take a run. You have to either play a little away from the fielder or play a push shot which will give you enough time to run. Bowling isn't as much fun. The controls, the system is just completely different. On the hardest difficulty, I found bowling to be harder than batting. It took me 3 attempts to even release the ball. Even if you manage to release, it's hard to not bowl a no ball, and even if you manage that, the smallest mistake in line and length will get you smacked around the ground. We got DRS in a game for the first time, Hawkeye, Hotspot, so yeah, the game introduced a lot of things. There were no licensed teams, not even Australia or England, so I guess some equality. Neither Indian nor Australian fans could play with real players. Player names could be made out though. Player models looked excellent with forearms like bodybuilders. Everyone looked like players from the 70s and 80s. You can play with vintage jerseys with open collars, which is cool as Don Bradman Cricket 14 is a near perfect game. I'd say it is top 2 or top 3 best cricket games if you like realism. There are a few problems, camera angles are just plain bad. You'll not know where the ball is half the time. But with amazingly fun gameplay, a great career mode, and arguably one of the best graphics engines, Don Bradman Cricket 14 is an 8 out of 10. DBC 14 came out 8 years ago. Cricket 22 came out just last year. It is a polished, improved version of Don Bradman 14 in most areas. Click the video on screen to see if Cricket 22 is that good or is DBC 14 still the best? Meanwhile, subscribe if you got to this point. I'm sure you will love future videos. Like and comment your thoughts. Thanks for watching and have a great day ahead.